I don't know why we were taught that if you have sex with a man, they're gonna like you more. That is a lie.
For some reason, we think if they leave or if we don't get XYZ out of them, we're worthless or we gave up too much of ourselves. Well, you got dick too.
How do I feel liberated as a woman if I'm accepting crumbs or just pieces of what I want and not...
You have to accept that sex that you're asking for isn't crumbs.
Mandii B and Weezy.
New York Times best-selling authors
Of No Holds Barred.
hosts of
Decisions podcast.
I think that's the problem with a lot of women. They're like, yeah, I just want to use him for dick. And then he comes over and you realize, no, bitch, you want to be held.
How do you find sexual liberation while also not being objectified out in the world?
I don't think anyone cares about your soul for a little bit. I don't believe I don't believe that anyone does in the beginning. I don't.
I'm just curious if you guys feel like you lost anything in pursuit of sexual liberation.
Hey!
What's up?
Thank you for coming. I'm so excited to talk to you. Weezy and Mandii are friends of mine, and I've chatted with them before on podcasts, and they have this new exciting book coming out, No Holds Barred, and it's really just about helping women to overcome fear, guilt, shame, trauma, second-guessing themselves, opinions of others, in order to let their freak flag fly. I feel like this is a great book for me, but I wanted to find the perfect person to really represent who they're trying to help and reach. And I read so many stories, and your story really stood out to me.
You believe it's magic.
It took me a moment of courage to reach out to you and tell about my story. And basically, I have been doing erotic and fantasy-oriented art through the women's lens for quite some time. And I just want to let my freak flag fly and put myself out there. I've never been in a romantic relationship in my adult life, and I want to explore all of my kinks and explore all the pleasures that I know could be out there for me.
Tell me what the kinds of things that you draw.
I draw a lot of solo women fantasizing or utilizing like masturbation tools. And sometimes, you know, another person is involved, but it's a lot of solo play just because I haven't had a lot of experiences with another person that I really want to put into my artwork.
Lovers, this is an action-packed episode. The starring guests are Mandii and Weezy, New York Times best-selling authors and hosts of the hit podcast Decisions. Check them out on tour right now. And check out the work of my co-host on this episode, Binx, on Instagram at @the_BINX. And lastly, stay till the end for a very special segment with Seth Furey, aka Hands of Fury. You guys both look great.
Thank you.
I want to ask the boring question. We'll get to the interesting stuff. How does it feel to have a book?
Oh my God. I mean, when we talk about the podcast we've been doing for 8 years and how we've overshared and our story is out there for everybody, this to me encapsulates it. It makes it even more real.
I've described it as erotica and self-help, and that's the type of books that I like to read. I like books that will make me feel stronger and more empowered, and books that make me want to masturbate.
Well, insert Binx here. The reason why I wanted Binx to come too is because I'm like, who is this book for, and how do we get that person in on this conversation? Because, I mean, it's also for me too. It's actually interesting. I always say this to Jared. I'm like, they think I'm so vanilla. They think I'm so boring. Not everybody.
No, almost the way your audience is so shocked when you show a little booty.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, Shan. Whoa.
I don't look at you like that at all, but your audience is.
Yeah.
You told us once, you were like, I'm daytime, you guys are nighttime. And I was like, but you're still sex girl.
I am still sex girl, but I am daytime.
Is that what it is?
No, but see, I think of us as more the same than we are different. But even in just now, you guys were casually talking about sex parties, and you're talking about the grades of them. You're talking about the different ones you've been to.
Yeah.
Even Binx, my virginal guest
I
here.
can't believe it. It was like the one time that I went.
Hold on, Binx got her titties out. Let's start with that. That's step one.
We all have our titties out.
And we do. Well, she got the legs out.
Right.
I don't have my titties out, and I've never been to a sex party. So like maybe I am what I say that I'm not.
Well, no, sex club is very like, we're skipping a lot of steps here. Like, I think that there's a lot that you could do before saying, oh, now I'm ready for sex clubs. Like,
You know, sex club is strip club in my head.
no,
Because I don't
not
have
even-
sex in
bro,
them.
not even close.
You don't have sex in them?
I don't. I go to sex clubs for the energy.
Same.
Like, it's kind of like...
Or for the hugs?
Yeah, for the hugs.
for the guy that wanted to cuddle you. You know when you go to a club and you got a man, but you know you want to flirt with everyone? It's like that.
So for me, the last couple years, like, so in my last relationship, I was going bi-weekly. We played together. We played separately. We did things in front of other people. Sometimes we would go just to watch. Kind of like what Weezy said. I think it's been really experiencing it now solo for the last 2 years because my partner now is not interested at all in it. But going by myself has been empowering to just be in rooms with people who feel liberated, who are confident, who are comfortable, and also just like-minded people. I think when we talk about sex, again, we know there's the daytime version and the nighttime version. There's the rah-rah, you're a promiscuous, I don't know if I can say all this on your show, but slut ass hoe, or you're one that only gives it up to your partners. And there's this range of how we view people who are sexual. And so for going into those spaces, I think it's beautiful to see couples share each other, to see individual people go in and own their sexuality and pick who they want to play with. And maybe it's multiple people, maybe it's not. But I think that that's what I love about those rooms is really just the community. Me being now in the Bible Belt, I feel all the privilege that I had in New York now that I'm in Atlanta because I'm like, whoa, down here is a lot more conservative in the views that people have on sex clubs or liberation and how you can express yourself as a woman wanting sex. And so like, it's really interesting how I talk about like my love for New York and finding community specifically.
Which is interesting too, because then sexual liberation is just cultural. It's not racial, it's not for an age, it's just more like if the culture surrounding it supports exploration, people explore. And if they don't, then people don't, regardless of what race or gender is in that specific place.
I just said this sentence last night. It's so crazy you said that. I'm a 90 Day Fiancé fan, and there's a guy on there from Iran, and I can die anything to 90 Day Fiancé. But they go to a bachelorette party, burlesque, and he's like, my wife, she's bisexual. And I'm like, damn, because they went to see burlesque? You know, I'm like, what the fuck? And like, just the tassels, and she's in tears. She's like, I swear to God, I'm not. And he doesn't believe her. And I literally was on the phone with my friend. I'm like, yo, sexuality is so cultural. Because think about Brazil. How people that come back from Brazil always talk about how everyone is open or how they kiss so much or how sexy they are. Or when you even meet Brazilian girls, Brazilian butt lift, just the sexuality sometimes of Latinos. How Latinos aren't very scared to hug, kiss on the cheek, things like that. Americans are a little bit weird. And I'm not Latino, but growing up in Florida, we're around them so much, you know what I mean? The difference from, to me, the two immigrants, you've got Caribbeans and Latinos. It's like, damn, them islands right there. But culturally, so different. You know, sexuality is played out depending on where you live. And in the States, we just see it per city.
I would like to, just so that we can know a little bit more about you, what is your background? Like, where were you raised? Like, two-parent household? But because I think that all trickles down too, but also what is your ethnicity?
Absolutely. So I'm African American, raised in the Midwest, like Chicago suburbs, mostly raised by my grandparents because both of my parents worked a lot. And so with them, super religious in Catholicism, Christianity, and then my dad's side were Jehovah's Witnesses. So
oh, wow.
Kind of this energy of like, you know, just to be a good girl, be quiet. So any sexual urges that I might have had, I had to keep to myself. I remember even in my childhood, my grandma got mad at me one time because I happened to have my legs between my hands between my legs while I was sleeping.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. So you had nobody growing up to talk about sex at all?
Not really.
Did you find a friend, or we know that sex ed doesn't exist in schools.
Exactly.
Still.
I mean, in the 90s, you're hearing a lot of like R&B and sexual music. So no matter what you do, you can't avoid that. And so I'm like, oh, I can't wait to be older and understand like what this would feel like, or to have a husband.
Understand your neck and your back, huh?
Exactly. So
Binx, I want you to bring them up to current day too and share what you do right now and the work that you'd create. I think you have such an incredible story.
Yes, so with all of that sexual frustration in my lifetime, I've grown to create a lot of erotic-oriented art, mostly encapsulating women of color and kind of putting myself into each piece. So I brought you all a gift today. I came out with this Pleasure is Liberation zine that has a bunch of my work and my friends' work in it. And I also, if you want to check it out, make condoms.
You make condoms?
Well, condom design.
Okay.
Oh my God, that is
condom
crazy
design.
fire.
I brought up some regular ones that have a girl licking on a dick. You can open it. That's XL though. I'd rather you use it and tell me how it is.
I'm gonna use it.
Oh. Wait, is it on the
she's
condom?
licking the...
Not on the condom.
Is she licking balls?
She's licking a dick. I don't draw dicks too often, but it felt appropriate for the zine coming out.
Wow.
Why don't you draw dicks too often?
I have yet to have a man in my life that, one, has made me feel comfortable enough to be submissive to them, which is what I want to do, or that has made me feel safe in a sexual space.
So I've been going, it's crazy that you say this. So my younger sister is 27. My mom is 55. I am 34, and we are all currently in therapy around our safety with men. My mom, like, we were talking about her and dating, and I was like, so who's been your favorite partner? Like, my mom and my dad weren't together, and she said someone that I was like, how dare you say this, man? And as a child, I remember so much treatment. And then my sister at 27, having the same experience. What's crazy is me and my sister really like not liking anything but black men. She's Haitian and white, I'm Jamaican and white. My mom is clearly the white one. But we only want to be with black men. So there's this struggle of really wanting to receive and be a part of black love, while also going through these traumatic experiences about like our dealings with black men, whether it be my dad, whether it be other people. Like in the book, I talk about my first sexual assault as an adult that I thought was my first sexual assault. And I literally wrote in the book, why was he black? It made me so mad that as a black man, he would hurt his sister essentially. And that's been like my dilemma too, is really loving and craving the attention and desire and love and intimacy from a black man specifically, but also not knowing or having felt safe just yet all the way. So it will work, but it takes, you'll find a person.
I'm glad that you touched on that. Like my first experience with sexual assault was from a black man, and I try not to hold that against them. And eventually I would have different experiences with all kinds of men that were sexual assault, but it really does leave a hole in you, because I feel as a black woman, like, we really do love them immensely, and like,
so much.
we'll go hard for them, and it feels like it's not reciprocal. And I think that's the most important thing for me in terms of expressing myself sexually or in love, is just to have that reciprocation.
I'm sorry that happened to you, and I know that you shared that with me, and I appreciate that. And that's why even when I asked you who's the perfect reader of this book, you basically described.
I did. I described like someone seeking liberation, someone who is trying to not allow their trauma to define them, someone who is looking to feel so much more comfortable in their skin so that they can live their best selves and find their power.
You know, it's impressive to me that you would seek out to be more sexually liberated while also being the person with a book titled Pleasure is Liberation. But it already tells me there's so many moments. I think I even reference, there's a chapter, not to get too dark and morbid, about suicide, where I was like, oh my God, I'm the happy girl on Horrible. Like, yeah, go rave and find your power. That was me when I was young on our podcast. And I was going home like, is this gonna be the night I do it? It's crazy that we can do it for others, but not ourselves. So like to see that you have this sexual power, but sometimes don't take it for you, it's already, and even you saying submissive, I'm so submissive. Being a giver really limits you sometimes from getting out there. The people pleasing, all of that, it's exhausting. Nothing has been more exhausting to me, I think, than recognizing that I have to give back to myself, because it's not the thing that makes me most happy.
So now I'm at this point whenever I'm questioning myself in terms of my sexual liberation, I have it on my coffee table, and like you, I probably will look at some hentai and be like, girl, if you don't get out there and get your back blown out or something.
Well, the aliens and demons ain't here for us yet. I know that's, I'm looking through this and I'm like, well, no, the demons are here in the shape of men.
Does liberation look like, I don't know, you mentioned to me downstairs when I was getting dressed, I gotta start dressing sexier. I've always found, I don't know if you agree or any of you guys agree, when I see someone dress sexy, I'm like, oh yeah. And you know, it's not just the outfit, because you could look shitty in a little, it's like the walk, the talk. It's not weight, it's not height, it's not anything. Even I've seen unattractive, no offense, unattractive women with a fire outfit, and men are all over them. Conventionally unattractive, let's say. To me, it is something about the outside that almost bleeds in a little bit.
Well, and I want to ask you that, because before the cameras rolled, you said if we ever give makeovers, you want to be considered. Why would you say that? What about your presentation do you feel like needs made over?
I love my presentation, but I definitely feel like I'm giving like, ooh, soulful boho lady who will heal you, which is fine. But there are times where I'm like, I want to bring out my dominant side. I'm actually really curious about sex work and I want to utilize my voice in it. But if I could bring out like the dominant side of myself through outfits and just a demeanor, maybe I'd have that more of that energy in my day-to-day life. I try to put what I really want in my art so that the universe knows and maybe it'll come to me. And I really am into like submission and bondage. Like I love shibari, I love the art of it, and I would love to find a partner that I'd feel comfortable enough to tie me up.
I already know what you gotta start wearing.
See?
Submission and bondage, right? Mm-hmm. You need to get a good leather piece and a harness that you like, something that's like tight around your body, because everybody else will start to see it on the outside too, but in a low key way. So it's like, let's just say you're wearing a top and it just needs a little extra zhuzh. You buy a harness, you can wear this out anywhere.
You can literally look up harness. This is not an ad on like stuff like Fashion Nova, Shein, Amazon. Amazon has harnesses.
Literally. And
you can literally wear it over
breast.
a white tee. Wear it over this dress. Mm-hmm. Like if that's something that brings you an element of power, you don't have to wait to go into the bedroom with someone to do it. Mm-hmm. I used to say that so I was about 80 pounds bigger than this. And I used to talk about like ways in which I would try to make myself feel better is to wear lingerie around the house. Mm-hmm. It was something that made me feel sexy and it wasn't for anyone else. So if you're saying you're into shibari, I like that tip would be to just add a little bit of the element, the leather and stuff to your everyday outfit.
Also, not even just taking it is to like, I'm talking about accessories too. Cuffs. So you have to think of what the bondage community looks like and wears, right? And it's basically incorporating leathers, metals, chain, all of that, suede. And I think too, the under, like, I just made a comment to you because oh my God, I'm wearing ugly underwear. You see, that was something I felt like I had to preface and no one was looking. But
none of us cared.
Yeah. None of you cared. But would I have been walking and talking different if I felt sexy about what was underneath? For some reason, when I'm wearing we got the good panties and the period panties.
You got the period panties and the good ones, yeah.
And the old ones that are raggedy, putting on the good stuff underneath. And I think for you, putting on a little something that looks more like that sexual life will get you there.
I'd love to ask you all, how do you find sexual liberation while also not being objectified out in the world? That's been, I'm trying to find a balance between that as well.
Ooh.
My answer is kind of rough.
Yeah.
So is mine.
I don't think anyone cares about your soul for a little bit. I don't believe,
oh shit.
I don't believe that anyone does in the beginning. I don't, when I'm swiping on Hinge, he's hot, she's hot. I don't really give a fuck about what her fears are yet. That's the truth. Now, being that you look like the boho soulful girl, you probably are one of those people, I would just guess, because I'm one of those. If I meet you for 5 minutes, I'm probably going to end up talking about traumas and something super deep and meaningful because that's my shit. That's my kink. But not everybody's like that. And off the rip, we're already going for aesthetic. You're swiping on aesthetic. Or, I mean, maybe the bio's decent, but you do the same. We're all doing it. Sometimes people got to get to that level. I think they expect to be objectified. You could wear a garbage bag and someone's going to do it to you.
Yeah.
Don't think because you're going to be sexier, it's going to happen and be worse.
Removing the fear of being objectified looks like seeing yourself and valuing yourself. So back when I was very uncomfortable with my weight, I realized I sought validation in men. I sought, like, a man wanting to fuck me made me feel sexier. What the fuck? You know what I mean? And so it wasn't until I really started like leaning into self-love and knowing like the things that I wanted and being able to vocalize them. That's one thing, because again, pleasing some guy, I don't know why we were taught that if you have sex with a man, they're gonna like you more. Mm-hmm. That is a lie.
Yes.
That is a lie. I don't know why.
That's how we get in situationships.
Why the hell? Why was that even talked to us as like, you know, if you just give him a little something, no. A man,
now that's not cultural.
A man is that's American. That. No, that's across the board.
Yep.
We were taught that, well, if you have sex with him, he'll like you a little bit more. Which is why, like, you know, we have all these struggles with like how early we give it to him.
The truth is, you'll get a longer shelf life with him, but he's already decided what shelf you're going to be on. And if you don't want to be on that shelf, being on that shelf for 2 more years is not the win that you think it is.
It's not.
So you'll get the attention. So that's the thing is, for some people, having sex is the only way you're going to maintain that person's attention. Mm-hmm. But it's a level of attention that you're not even interested in.
Shelf life was such a good way. Like, I think that one of the most powerful things I've heard from, you know, when you're kind of looking for affirmations from your partner, and if you're non-monogamous, sometimes you need them a little more than extra. I wasn't feeling good one day and I made a joke. I was like, oh my God, I'm getting old, baby, my back, this and that. You gonna get some hot young pussy one day and be like, I'm done with this bitch. He's like, yo, I'm not saying you don't have the best pussy in the world, But I could have a bitch, I could have 10, all of them give me everything I need sexually, and it still wouldn't make me feel like they were it for me. And I really believe men feel this way. Now for us, I don't know, I think my heart's in my vagina. Like, you start fucking it, I love you. You know, but I do realize that we lead with sex because we sometimes want the emotional.
But we also got to stop even the mindset of women thinking that their pussy is the best. Their pussy can get a guy to do something that the next one can't, or that it's better, it's gushier.
Because that's what they say during sex, Mandii.
Yeah, but and he probably say it to everybody else. You know what I mean? So I think also just getting out of your mind, not only of the objectification, but the comparison of what other women are looking like out there, what they're doing out there, and really just leaning into like, what the fuck do I want?
I think us letting men know what we want from the gate is super helpful too, because a lot of times when a man is having an experience with dating women, all of us are guilty of, I can't do this because I need to wait a certain amount of dates. I'm looking for love, so I shouldn't lead with just sex. But like literally, I was looking for love the whole time when I started having casual sex. I just started to accept my fate. Like the pursuit sometimes.
Say that more about that. I just started to accept my fate. What does that mean?
I have always wanted love. Matter of fact, I'll give you an easy example. You and Jared didn't have kids yet at your last place when I first did your podcast. I remember watching you guys kiss and enjoy each other and thought, I really want this sometime. They look so great, or this is such a nice house. I can imagine this, that feeling of it, right? Went on a date later that night, thought about that. I know I want this for myself, but my fate is, it doesn't always have to be him. People feel that pressure. Me carrying the abundance of wanting love and marriage and family is just me. However, if I exude that and push that onto everyone, it just doesn't work out. It's like a desperate job interview. Oh, did I tell you I love Google? Oh, I use Google all the time. Well, goddamn. Like, they're already under that assumption. We already know what we want for ourselves. If we walk, talk, and believe that it's happening, it is. It's just not always going to be with that person, accepting the fate of whatever can come with who they are. Much like friendship. If you go out with your friends, for example, we always want it to be the best night ever. But if you're just chilling at a bar and you end up having a great conversation, why can't we accept that fate instead of saying, it was terrible, I should have never left the house? No, you got to catch up with your friend. No one has the ability to control the other person in the thing that they want. If you want a relationship, that takes two, right? Getting that buy-in on the first date isn't gonna happen. So we kind of gotta release that a little bit. Still get to know someone. Don't tell me how many fucking kids you want yet. Like, who are you? I know you fine, that's first. I'm objectifying. What else? Do they like anime too? I just really hope that all of us can walk through life, whether it be relationship, work, anything we desire, with just accepting the fate as it comes.
Shane, can I ask you that question? Like, in having these conversations, because same, I now like intimacy, but I like, you know, having experienced intimacy in my last relationship, when I got out, going and having sex casually seemed empty. Seemed like, what am I doing? Like, this doesn't feel good now. Like, I thought I was liberated. I'm having sex with the person I want to have sex with, but now at the end of it, it's empty because the person leaves right after. Maybe we're not cuddling. It's just that. It's just a transactional thing. However, I would like someone casual, or did like what someone casual at the time. How do you differentiate or tell women that they could have these non-committal, friends with benefits situations with men while also wanting the feelings of being cared for, like if they were their partner?
This episode is sponsored by me because why not? Did you know that Lovers is more than a podcast? It's an entire suite of tools designed to help you reach your intimate potential. Like, there's Shay-I. You can ask my AI anything, or as I call her, Shay-I. Sign up for my weekly newsletter or check out my free resource library of quizzes and worksheets at loversbyshan.com. Want more? Join the Lovers community for $20 a month. This is a space to connect with others who share our passion. Book one-on-one time with me, join weekly classes, and even be a part of the podcast. Okay, that's a whole lot of information, but here's the bottom line. If you are ready to enjoy the journey of creating a euphoric, intimate life as much as you're going to enjoy the destination, then head over to loversbyshan.com, and I'll see you there.
How do you differentiate or tell women that they could have these non-committal, friends with benefits situations with men while also wanting the feelings of being cared for, like if they were their partner.
I loved what you said so much about accepting your fate, because when you just know in your heart, and most people can know this, 80% of people will find a long-term partner by 40. I can't promise you that 80% of people are going to get a house, are going to have their dream job. I can't make that kind of promise. You're going to live in the best city. But that is a stat that only exists for this space. So you can almost move like it's going to happen. But you also have no control over when you meet that person. What you do have control over, I think, though, is your light. Like being in a space where you are light, where you feel liquid, where you don't feel needy because you have opportunities around you. I would say, and I did this when I had a fuck buddy, which Jared is my fuck buddy, which is the worst plot twist. I know, it's so boring.
Now look what you turned into.
But it was such a good fuck buddy relationship because I had Jared as a fuck buddy. I had a cuddle buddy who I would go and sleep over with afterwards because that wasn't...
That's not what y'all had.
No, but the other guy, I would go over there. We never had sex, but I would walk his dog.
He had to be smaller.
We would be...
unattracted.
He was so fine. He was a model. He wasn't... What Jared had sexually, sauce-wise, and skill-wise...
The skill?
He's smiling on it. This other dude was stunning and gorgeous. I loved being around him. I liked his energy. I just didn't think we would have great sex. But I knew I liked being around somebody really attractive, and he was fun. You can have 6 people that make up one and keep your heart open and knowing that when you find the one, you're gonna know.
And you don't have to sleep with all 6. That's another thing about dating. Like when you share, oh, I'm talking to 6 guys, doesn't mean I'm having sex with all of them. So you could literally kind of build a bear until you find the one that you really want to be like, okay, I'm good with talking.
I've been used from a man, like in the way Shan used the model guy. You know, some people don't like that word. We're using someone for everything, right? And when he would come over to me, I love to cook. So I could tell, like, when we would make jokes, he's like, I miss having a girlfriend, you miss having a boyfriend. That admittance of that is like, oh, it's not you. But I kind of liked playing house a little bit. I loved having him come over, eat my meal, or no, it sounded like eat my coochie. Enjoy my meals, watch TV. No, we didn't have sex. Watch TV with me. We'd cuddle a little bit, and that was just kind of it. And I wondered for a long time, is he not as attracted to me because there's no sex? And I was like, oh, he's just not enjoying or able to enjoy the other woman he's having sex with in that way. So for me, he doesn't want to touch that. We connected on dates, but it wasn't crazy sexual energy to where we were that comfortable. That person does exist too. The fuck buddy to me that becomes the cuddle person, I think everyone starts to get really confused. And I'm not talking about basic cuddling after. When it turns into the sleepovers and maybe a plan after, that's when it gets scary. Because we believe the cuddling after is respect. There's no world where Jared ended up marrying a woman he never respected. Leaving after sex doesn't mean there isn't respect there. It's just sometimes the safeguard for both people. But for some reason, we think if they leave or if we don't get XYZ out of them, we're worthless or we gave up too much of ourselves. Well, you got dick too. So it's weird because I guess the accepting the fate thing, it's like knowing what I want could only be this. If I get some extras, cool, but this is what it is. I know I need to have some good carnal sex. That's what it is. That's where I want it to last. That's where I want it to stay. And like even creating that, I think is important.
For women like us, now I'm putting us together, who, again, there's a gap between what they see themselves doing and what they're actually doing. A lot of that is because of fear. So I'm just curious if you guys feel like you lost anything in pursuit of sexual liberation.
I think early on I lost myself. Like I said earlier, I was doing things for the pleasure of someone else. I was seeking validation from someone else. I was thinking that, back to what we were talking, if I give him the best head of his life, he's gonna like me more and put me on a pedestal and all these things. Like, I lost myself for a long time in the pursuit of confidence, essentially. Like it was a false sense of confidence that I wore out to parties and clubs. And yes, I had the personality, but maybe I didn't look as, the part. And so I lost myself a lot. And now I feel like I've gotten that back through like just being more confident with what I like and how I want to pursue my partners or what we want to partake in. But that's what I would say I lost during that search.
I want to ask about that because you always hear the story of the woman who was sexually liberated, did her thing, had her hoe phase, enjoyed it, who then finds a partner, finds God, finds insert here, and now is like, if I could give advice to younger women, it would be don't. Respect yourself, love yourself.
I don't think that that's the advice I would give. I'll be honest with you too. Like even with the rebrand, right? When we started Horrible Decisions, we wore the whore badge proudly. Like we have the whore hive. Like it was a word that we essentially wanted to reclaim. Unfortunately, with the reversal of Roe v. Wade and all these motherfuckers trying to take away our rights and autonomy, I think that we're even down the rabbit hole even further of what it looks like to be labeled as that. And I think as a woman seeking her own sexual liberation, and what it really means is freedom and power to remove yourself from all stigmas and all labels that patriarchy has wanted to give us, right? And so for me, where I thought it would be an empowering word, it's one of those words that we as women, I don't think we'll ever get to reclaim, unfortunately. And so that title,
you gave up.
It's not a badge to wear that anymore. However, to feel free and to feel powerful and to be able to express to a man no, and to say, actually, this is how I receive pleasure. If you can't do that, I'm fine. Me not changing myself to appease a man or to be more likely for him to select me, that's power, that's liberation. It's not walking around here saying, oh, I fuck everybody, whoever I want. I also take it from the back and all my holes. Like, there's a way to express it, yes. And we've done it on this pod for 8 years comedically, and we've shared our traumas, we've shared our laughs. Sex is fun, right? But I think for me, like owning your true power. So when you say you want to sleep with someone, doing it because you want to do it. And really knowing what you want. Like even when we were talking about, right, the casual partners, I think that's the problem with a lot of women. They're like, yeah, I just want to use him for dick. And then he comes over and you realize, no, bitch, you want to be held. You want a hug. You want a man to rub you on your forehead. There actually are more things that you want. And now liberation to you only looks like dick. Liberation doesn't look like asking for all of those other things you actually want, which is what leaves you feeling completely empty.
But sexual liberation should exist in its own, though.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
To me, I agree. Like, if you do want to be held and not sex, it isn't sexual liberation. Sexual liberation to me is someone like, you even saying bondage and submission, that's very specific. That is being sexually liberated. It's not someone that just wants to fuck. You may not even have sex being tied up. You may get it from that, which most BDSM, most people in the BDSM community find to be the most thrilling. The release of it, the tying up, like it's almost a foreplay, and again, the sexual energy. But I think gaining power and knowing what you want and dating, or even for yourself, is different from sexual liberation. Because you got to think, a lot of people that would read this book are going to figure out how to ask for threesomes, anal sex, how to ask more, how to be more specific about not having orgasms, things like that, how to do things on their own. But I would tie what you're asking for, though, to both. Because it's like, I'm a normal girl. Hey, can I just be cuddled? But I also do want this. It's tough because accepting the fate, like what you want may not look like the perfect package. Do you know how hard it is to find a fuck buddy that you can cuddle with? She didn't even get that with him. She married him. Like, it's hard. Tough. Like, tough. Then they become your man. It's like, there's a lot of pressure. Once I started getting to a place where...
Can I ask you, how do you feel liberated in settling for someone that's not giving you what you want?
In settling for it with sex?
Like, how is there a liberation if I'm a woman and I want casual sex, but at the end, all you gotta do is just lay there with me for 10 minutes. And he's like, yeah, no, I ain't got that for you.
Gonna be honest with
how
you,
does a woman
not
find
10 minutes?
But, well, what I'm saying is, and it could be, I used to only want 5-10 minutes. Bro, don't just get up, put your clothes on and leave. So what I'm saying is, how is a woman who may just want a little bit of aftercare, which is what we talk about, especially with any sort of BDSM that doesn't even involve sex. How do I feel liberated as a woman if I'm accepting crumbs or just pieces of what I want and not...
You have to accept that sex that you're asking for isn't crumbs. Like, if you want to get fucked, but it comes with a caveat, that might be something you need to negotiate. But knowing that you're just asking for sex, adding the extras on top is something to me that surpasses just asking for the sex.
Not as a la carte.
When I got super... For real.
She said the 10 minutes after, a la carte, bitch, that's an add-on. It's going to cost you a little bit more.
You can definitely say to someone like, hey, like, totally want to keep it casual, but I am a cuddler, and see their response. That will probably get you what you want right there.
Would you have sex casually with a guy knowing that you like head? Would you have casual sex with a guy who's like, yeah, but I don't do that?
Yes, if the dick is good. If I just want dick.
How are you liberated by a man then telling you no?
I see what
I ain't
you
gonna do what you want. Like
I probably
that to me removes the power. If I'm sitting here wanting what I want, and you telling me to go out and get it, and then I meet a guy and he's only willing to give me bits and pieces of I want, that reminds me of accepting crumbs. And I accepted it in a relationship, but in casual sex, I know that's where I felt like, damn, I feel unfulfilled. I think nothing felt worse than leaving a relationship, receiving that intimacy, and feeling mad at myself.
I'm gonna say this while holding your hand. It's because you either weren't fully comfortable with the casual sex that you thought you desired, or you're missing the X. Think about the phases of single. We all have them. The beginning is like, oh my God, it's fun. Then you're like, oh, I miss him. Ooh, I don't know how this feels, but I shouldn't be doing this. There's like phases of how single works. I think if you genuinely felt like that, then casual sex can never really work.
So that's my problem. I would say for you, in looking for this type of relationship, in seeking your sexual liberation, it would be then to find power in, I guess, here we go, fate, acceptance of what someone genuinely has to offer and what you will settle for, or what will still keep you feeling powerful. Like, because I don't think there's anything powerful in only accepting what someone's willing to give you if you want more.
Do you know what this is giving though? It's like, before when you go for Uber Eats, for example.
Here we go.
You're gonna go because you're looking for the crumble cookies, but you also want a drink, but they don't have the drink that you want.
They only got milk.
So you pick that drink, but it's like now they have a feature where you can get a drink from 7-Eleven for very little additional cost.
God.
It's just that you don't have to take. And I do think that momentum is very important. It sounds like what you guys have is momentum. And I think for anybody in terms of like sexual exploration, you require momentum. And also too, I work for this company called Aria, and they send a box a month. And the point of that is that if you just buy one sex toy and you don't like it, then what? Now we tried to do something different and it didn't work, and that's it. But if I buy a box a month, I try this month, I didn't like it, I have another one coming the next month. So I'm just creating that momentum. And it sounds like for you, what is missing is momentum, because you'll have one experience that's like not quite what you want. And rather than being like, okay, that's 1/8 of what I'm looking for, let me look for the other 7/8. You're like, that's not what I'm looking for. Let me stop, pause, try to find the 8 out of 8, and then you're kind of left in this dead space, or 3 out of 3.
You went from 6 to 8, girl. You making it like we got a whole basketball team.
Because dating is a numbers game.
But if you wanted somebody who's open to BDSM, somebody who's maybe open to you exploring with women, because that's what's important to you, sensitive to your traumas, sensitive to your background, loves your art, like goes to church, whatever those 8 things are that are important, it is hard to find one person who provides all of that. But it's almost like if you can just keep searching and have fun during the search, where women lose is where
the part is having fun.
They don't have fun anymore.
Because these men be exhausted.
We can't let go of
exhausted, child.
You know what it is? It's like the road to the goal, we think the goal, it's almost like we think every man is it. I remember having a conversation with my partner where he told me a lot of his issue was that he looked ideal for women. And he was like, I had women falling in love with me that weren't even into me. They were just into my aesthetic. He's like, they just liked how they felt around me. So I think sometimes what happens to us, when we're fucking these dudes who probably aren't that great, we're like, this could never be my husband, whatever. Now I want more intimacy from you, which is something that is, to be honest, on the highest patina of things that you should share with someone. And that shit sucks, because I think that's what got me lost around the way. I was only ending up in situationships because the fuck buddies I needed more from. And I kind of wish I stopped doing that. Before I met my partner was the perfect era of fuck buddy for me. See, you got a hoe to get there. But I'm on some real shit, like when you just said, what about the women that say, oh, now I found God, or they're starting to put their nose down once they get a man? I believe they settled when they found that man. Acceptance, your husband filming you while saying another guy was fine. Jared know he fine. He know you is, but there's a man somewhere that would break down hearing that. You know what I mean? Like meeting someone that just gets it, gets who you are and gets who you were. I don't believe women who find that perfect person look back on their old selves and hate them. Like, I might hate some of the wrong decisions I made. Horrible decisions is a pun, but also it could have been an H or a W horrible, you know? We've done some fucked up shit along the way, but there was a lot of fun. That road to getting to that person, really the person is yourself, right? Like the best version of yourself. But if the goal is meeting someone else that you can end up getting what you eventually want, I do think you have to let some of this shit go. I do think there needs to be some reverse engineering on how we see casual sex a bit. Because it fucks up so much of the sexual relationship we try to have with ourselves. I'm only good at sex with my partner because I figured out all this shit before. I'm 34, right? I didn't meet him young. But knowing that even knowing I like threesomes, sometimes I wonder how it feels for him reading the chapter about my ex and the threesomes we had. Like, damn, she really did this shit already. There's even a bar I mentioned in New York, Last Lap, where I met a lot of girls that I had threesomes with. That shit happened with me and him too. I don't know how that makes him feel, but it's the reality of, oh yeah, this girl said exactly what she wanted. Like, we gotta get there.
I do want to double click on what you said, because I think that's so important and so relevant to you, is that, and that a good aha for all of this is that your sexual liberation or your sex life outside of you can't fuck up the sex life you have with yourself.
Yes.
And you have an amazing sex life with yourself right now.
I do.
Where do you feel like you're at today? And what would you want more of? Not necessarily tomorrow, but like what's on your roadmap?
I feel where I am today, I'm open. I'm open to trying things, and I will be more open to what the fates have for me. But going forward from here, I want to be more in my erotic power. I read a lot of Audre Lorde, and I'm always like, okay, you need to bring this out. And so I want to bring more of that energy out. I want to have a hot girl summer, especially for the fact that by the time the summer is over, I get my hysterectomy, and I wonder what sex is going to be like for me after that. So it's like, this is my final summer to just enjoy myself, enjoy the erotic power, and then for winter, I'm just gonna kind of heal.
It is not your final summer, girl. Next summer, your pussy healed.
Exactly, but it's gonna take some time for it to heal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
which is why I really love that you want intimacy in other ways, like bondage, submission, shibari. Like going through a hysterectomy, like you can still experience pleasure.
Yes.
You know, like we've all had friends that, that have been through things like that. And I definitely would agree with someone knowing they want something so niche. You already understand that pleasure exists outside of this shit, which a lot of people don't. My partner sometimes won't have sex with me for the day if I'm like super thirsty, because he really wants to build it. He's a real hotep. Like, he don't want to come because the power release, but like, I kind of get it now. He's like, let's just make out. We'll put on a timer. He'd be like, you're making out with me for 10 minutes. I don't give a fuck. You think 10 minutes is gonna happen? It's silly, but I know when I hear the ding, I could touch his dick. Like, all of that buildup of no sex, I really think is gonna make your next time, whether it be man or woman, insane.
Only if it's good.
ooh, I can't wait. Exactly.
Only if it's good.
Because
But
I'm
yeah.
on a celibacy kick too. Like, in terms of sex, I haven't had penetrative sex now in 1.5 years. And so it can't just be any random person, because if it sucks, I'm going to be mad that I gave up my celibacy for them.
Yeah, that's a real thing. That's a real thing. I think then in just feeling more comfortable and feeling more safe, like she brought up the BDSM element, but it could be as simple as just having someone touch you and make you feel good, make you feel safe, and just you allowing, I think it's one of the best releases. There was a masseuse that I went to in Brooklyn, and after it, I was leaking, and I was like, Weezy, you gotta come and try this. She got out and was like, oh, he ain't do all that with you that he did with me, because I think he liked it. It was very appropriate. I had my own happy ending in my mind.
He massaged me so good. I went to check Google reviews to see if anyone else felt like they just got fucked.
It was so good. Like, the first time that I got the massage from him, I was in a relationship and I felt like I cheated on my partner. And that's like...
There was no touching genitals.
No. And so to know that you could feel that great and that powerful and that sexy and that released with sometimes just the touch of a hand of someone who knows how to touch you. Oh, I would say, girl, that's what you got to get first.
How does that feel in your body?
Wonderful.
But anyway, no, you need a massage.
I do. I haven't had one in months either, so it's time.
Shout out to the New York Times bestselling authors Mandii and Weezy. Grab their bestselling book, No Holds Barred, out right now. And of course, tune into their podcast, Decisions. Now, at the end of this episode, Mandii gave a great recommendation to Binx to try a sensual massage. And I happen to have the perfect professional in mind. So Seth Furey, aka Hands of Fury, is one of the most requested massage therapists in Los Angeles, known for his deeply connective and intimate techniques. That said, it's important to note not all massage therapists offer or are comfortable with sensual or intimacy-driven styles. Most are focused solely on therapeutic, clinical, or restorative work. So if you're specifically looking for a sensual massage, it is crucial to respectfully ask up front during the initial call what the provider offers so expectations are clear and aligned.
Seth, this is Binx, and Binx, this is Seth. Also, you go by Hands of Fury?
Hands of Fury, yes.
All right, tell us about what to expect.
So what you can expect is a massage, first off. And I like to just incorporate a certain flow that can feel very nurturing, very loving. But at the base, it's going to be a good massage. I always want to lead with that. That way you kind of go in there with that intention. And then it just can feel more like an experience than just what you'll get at a clinical massage. And I think that's the difference in which I try to provide and fill a little bit more of a gap, because, you know, massage can be very healing for multiple purposes. Obviously, you're going to get the muscle manipulation in the way that most people know, but also it fills a void in which lots of people don't have the space in their life sometimes where they are just touched or intimate with anybody. Like, they lack that just human connection, and that alone can be healing. And so to provide that in a safe space where you're with somebody with good energy and trusting, and you can just be vulnerable and just relax, that's one of the biggest gifts that I love to be able to provide for people.
You're gonna make me cry.
It's
oh my
okay.
gosh.
And that happens too. Yeah.
Why does it make you want to cry?
You know?
Because it's just the way that he expressed that and what the experience is like. Like, I just met you and I feel completely safe and trust you to give me this experience. So thank you.
I would look forward to it, yeah. And I would always encourage you, if there's any point within the massage where you feel uncomfortable or you need more or less pressure, just speak up. This is a session, like, there's no set one way. This is all going to be based on how you comfortably feel personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been touched in a while, so I'm very excited.
That's okay, yeah.
I don't know, just you have a beautiful energy. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love most about massage is it's very unique to any other relationship you're probably going to have in your life. When you think about just dating throughout the life and you're meeting new people, it's generally a give and take. Like, if somebody gives you a massage, they generally expect something back. This is a very one-directional, uninterrupted experience where you just feel everything for yourself for the hour or the 90, however long we do it for. And I think that's very unique and special. And that's something that massage just provides for people, you know? So when you experience that, it's nothing like just what you'll get anywhere else, you know? And I love that.
Some massage therapists specialize in rehab or in sports therapy or maybe just general clientele. Do you have a specific audience that you cater towards, and if so, why?
I would say like 70% girls. They're usually a little older. They are either married or single. It doesn't necessarily, it's not something that you have to be single for, because this isn't, you know, sexual or happy endings. It's not that. It's just a loving, nurturing experience. In fact, a lot of husbands call for their wives to get these massages because that's not what it is, right? It's just an escape. It's an escape from whatever chaos of life they're going through. And as you get older, I feel like life becomes less and less about you and more about the people around you. And sometimes you just need the reminder to set some time aside for yourself.
What would be a great ending to this for you? Like, if you came out of this, how do you want to feel? Like, how can we cater this experience to what your needs are?
Ooh, I want to feel held and at ease, if that makes sense. Like, I want to feel like I can let go of control in the situation and just have my guard down.
My back hurts. I'm jealous.
You should have asked him to also give you a massage.
No, I just love that it was about you and that you guys got your time, and it felt like there was such an energy of completion.
It was. I think from our talk last time and how, you know, going back to the sexual assault and it being a Black man, that was a very healing experience for me, and such a beautiful experience of feeling safety and having this experience with a Black man in general. It felt like a full circle moment, so I'm really grateful.
When we think about the conversation we had with Weezy and Mandii about sexual liberation, owning your yeses, when we had that conversation and then we moved it to here, did it feel like, or did it feel like one thing?
That's a great question. Honestly, it felt like one thing. Like, I feel like not only did that conversation make me more comfortable to pursue my sexual liberation and give out my erotic yes, but I think it's more intimacy oriented. And I think I was so focused on the sexual component, and I kind of forgot to highlight how much intimacy is important to me, especially through touch and certain activities. Like, even if someone were just to spend time with me and color in a coloring book or to play a video game, that would bring me to the same bliss that I feel now from this experience of just like, you're taking a moment with me to do something that on the grand scheme is not anything crazy, but just a comforting thing.
It's interesting because I think that the episode concept that I had was like how to help people be the freak that they've always wanted to be. Do you feel like today helped you become the freak that you always wanted to be? Or did it teach you that maybe there's something different that you want?
I think it's a culmination, because when you say that, I think freak nasty. She's still in there and she's ready to have like a full-on continuous hot girl summer, but more intentional with the freak that gets to come out. Like, I don't want to give that to just anyone, but I still want to let her out. She deserves to be out and she deserves to play. But if there can be some intimacy meshed into that, I think I'd be very content.
That's beautiful. Well, I hope this made you feel closer to the sex that you want to have.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you for spending the day.
I loved it. I really did.
Yeah, me
Thank
too.
you.
This was a wonderful experience.
If you want to start rubbing my back right now too, just maybe punch that spot that hurts.
So it's been a month since I spent time with Shan, Weezy, Mandii, and Hands of Furey, and I feel not only more relaxed from the massage, but also more empowered to seek the pleasure I desire. I'm still open to going on dates, events, and having no hesitation to shoot my shot with others. And our conversations together reminded me to remain open-hearted and minded and put myself out there. I'd also highly recommend reading No Holds Barred because it felt honest, relatable, and encouraged me to continue to live in my most authentic and sensual self.